It makes you wonder, huh? Tariq Hill had been raised playing soccer. Doesn't that make you wonder? No, there's a lot of when they sit there and there's population. This town, this country has this many people in it. It's a poor country, and everybody's got a bowl. And it's a way to be a good athlete and be a gladiator and deliver your family from debt and trespass through being successful at debt and trespass. It sucks. Yeah, that's what success is. Yeah, it's a success. Well, it's a word we invented, like unicorn and dragon. There, success. It's a wonderful word. Are you sure about that? It's comparing yourself to others, and then seeing yourself is more successful or fighting over what you want because you're manipulating each other through human invention. It's a word. Unicorn, dragon, success. You're successful at being a dragon and a unicorn? Okay. Well, that sucks. Doesn't it, though? Yeah. And they'll say that, too. Porzingis is a unicorn. Wembanyama's a unicorn. He's a unicorn, right? But the little 5'11" guy scored 45 points and beat the unicorn this year. He's just a little 5'11" guy, right? Lively up yourself, you won't need no dread. That's kind of funny. They'll do that. No, it's nothing on Wembanyama. Okay, it's a team game, and the little 5'11" guy who scored the five, he's also got Karl Anthony Towns. He's also got Malik Bridges. He has a very good team that does what it takes to make sure that he can be successful doing what he does, and then try to make it where Wembanyama is less successful trying to do what he's good at. All right. So positioning, speed, and quickness is basketball. You can be big and you can shoot over people, but if you're not hitting and you can't dribble around and through, and you know what I mean. Some of the best basketball players in the world aren't even 6 feet tall. It's astounding. It's amazing, but it's no bullshit, right? Well, Carlin, it's astounding. It's amazing, but it's no bullshit. That man was a trip. Well, he got more jaded as he went along, but he was still very funny. I remember, when he talked about driving, and anybody that drives faster than you is a maniac, and anybody that drives slower than you is a moron. Right? He goes, you'll go down the road and you'll see Knuckles and blue hair, and man, I'm screwed, right? They have this person who turns their turn signal on, and you go, okay, I'm not going to go because he's going to turn over there. He goes, you find out later they're just going around the world to the left. It's funny. You ever accidentally drove down the road with your turn signal stuck on? Yeah. And you can't hear it because he said, what happens is, have you ever noticed you're driving and you park your car and you get back in your car and you turn the key and some maniac has gotten in the car and blasted the radio, right? And has that not happened to us all? Okay, thank you. And so, yeah, it's funny. Now it's, a computer, it's just a downside. I don't know why they put computers in cars. Okay? Because everybody knows that computers don't do well. Quantum computers are put like in colder than cold. I don't have to miss no TV shows. I can start my whole life over. Okay, but colder than cold. No, it's bluer than blue. Well, it's about the same. But yeah, they're putting such cold to function right that it's like space, the final frontier. It's like that cold, right? It's really cold, like deathly cold for human beings, right? And so it can function properly. Whereas, if it gets too hot, it stops to function. So we can't have life in space, but apparently a computer can think in space, but cannot think on the sun. Go figure that. Yeah, that makes sense. You can think at the North Pole if you can survive as a computer, but it's hard to think at the bottom of a volcano, even for a computer, especially a quantum computer. I don't think a quantum computer would work too good in the bottom of a volcano, but in the molten lava volcano, but would work, Probably just as effectively, I don't know, in the North Pole, maybe so. If you put it in a structure that would be able to be safe from anything that, polar bears or elements or anything. I don't think there's much polar bears in the much part of the North Pole. I don't know. You have to wait and see. I don't know. But, Earl, life, the final frontier. Sitting there watching the end of the football game. So. They can't complain because the U.S. got their best player back, from a questionable red card call, And oh, there he goes. Okay, go Balogun, go, dude. Oh, nice attempt, buddy. Okay. But yeah, he's really quick. He has excellent pace. He can get out about everybody and get a good shot off, on lots of guys. He's a very, 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 very talented football player. But it still makes you wonder, what if Tariq Hill, we didn't have football in the United States, and the only option for poor kids to get out of the ghetto was football, not football, but football. Earl, there's more money in football than football. Okay, there is. Yeah. Well, you got 22. It was, just a double squad game, like back with LSU's team and all that. And it used to be that, they played both ends of the ball, and then it got to where it was two squads. You went from defense to offense and defense to offense, which made it harder because you're knocking the living shit out of each other out there. And a lot of the big movers, you get tired. Because, you're carrying around 300, well, back then it wasn't 320 pounds. Back then, most big guys were probably about anywhere from 220 to 240 or 250. Yeah, 250, that's a big man, right? So 6'6", about 245, Big John. Everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John. Big Bad John. Big John, right? And he's little compared. Lonnie Shelton's 6'8", 245. Okay. Daryl Dawkins was 6'11", 265. Okay. Big dog, big bad dog, big dog. Down at the bottom of that arena is a mighty big man, and he ain't even the biggest. There's American Tourister. He's from England. He was a brown man. That had African descent from one line of the family, the mother, the father. I wasn't aware. I wasn't sure. Okay, but he, so he had a British accent. He was from England. His name was James Donaldson. He went to Washington State University, and he played for the Sonics briefly, and then he played for Dallas. He was 7'2", 290 pounds or so, and he was big, barrel chested, and Daryl Dawkins called him American Tourister because he's got his head as big as a suitcase. Right? He was a big man, just big. We saw him in Pullman. Yeah, he was a big, quiet, soft-spoken sweetheart of a guy, a lot like Mark Eaton, right? Yeah, big, oh shucks, ma'am, yeah, and just big, old James Donaldson. I really liked James Donaldson. And the house that Stewart built. Yeah, I think Stewart was from Detroit. Yeah, and George Raveling got him to go there because George Raveling was a black coach, and Stewart wanted to play for a black coach, and he probably regretted it ever since. I'm just kidding, because George Raveling was not black. No, George Raveling was a black guy that was like Bobby Knight, masquerading as as a black guy that was more like just kidding around. I had a lot more. Most of my, Paul Bruton would talk to me about stuff, and Danny Bennett and stuff. My black coaches. And Danny was my coach. He was a pimp, but he was a basketball coach. Okay, he was a damn good basketball coach. Okay. The show. He was a little bit too much emphasis on the show. It's like, I'm standing 3 feet in front of you. Drop the ball off. Don't throw it between your legs as fast as you fucking can. I know Walter Davis did that, but he did it from half court to a guy standing under the basket. I'm 3 feet in front of you. Explain that to him. Yes, Earl. I'd say, hey, man, you almost broke my finger, man. It jammed my finger. He threw it so hard, I couldn't get a hold of it. It jammed my finger. It cracked the bleachers and warped the basketball. And he's like, you got to catch that shit. Seriously? Danny, I'm 150 pounds, if that, soaking wet. If I had caught that thing, it would have been my, I would have caught it and it would have taken, done like Chris Rock or something, like caught the ball. It would have picked my body up off the ground and made my tailbone crack against the bleachers, cracking the bleachers too. Also, no, my tailbone so hard it probably would have cracked the bleachers, but I'd have a bruised tailbone. Okay. Knowing Earl, yeah, most likely. Yeah, I had a bruised tailbone and it would have broke the bleachers. Yeah, like my head. Yeah, that's happened with me a lot. You get this and that's a crack and what? But he's okay. Oh, the soft tissue damage, the high ankle sprain, the bone sprays, the bruised tailbone. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I'm not okay. It's having these this damage from chemical poisoning where cancer cells are trying to rapidly get out of the body on top of your shins. It can repair itself, but that pain and that whenever something comes up, whenever there's Roundup, whenever there's a freeway, if you're not in the most pristine conditions, cleaning it out and not agitating it again, it fires right back up. Here we go again. Okay. And just when you get, okay, I'm feeling better, you hear the whirl of a thing spraying and then they do something to stimulate the economy and here comes people driving. And then when the driving stops, then they're doing road construction, which is even more poisoning, from the tar and so it's a lot of fun. Oh yeah. Well, the nice thing about science and scientific evidence collection to prove people's points and prove their hypothesis and their theories and all that is that this time will be different. You and I can share this dream that I visualize. Are you really ready for love, girl? Or is it just the lonely talking again, right? This time will be different, And now we can live what Jesus and Muhammad intended us for live, because the devil and Satan were the ones collecting the evidence to prove it, Jesus, prove it, Muhammad, right? So it works, It doesn't work for us because, it's a hard knock life for us. You couldn't accept the Lord's Prayer, you went down. No. You couldn't accept it after the Hajj. No. You couldn't accept it after they were definitely not going to accept it from a black man from Ethiopia addressing the League of Nations. No, it was not going to happen. There was no way in hell it was going to happen that day. Guys, the people in India hated Krishnamurti so much that they didn't want him around. He had to be rescued by the British. The British, okay. The British. The line of the Krishna and the Buddha had to be rescued from his own people by the British, or they were going to abuse him to death for object poverty because he was like that guy at Fort Huachuca told me, your religious beliefs are selfish. You're an idealist and you get people killed. Yeah. Why does he get people killed? Because he wants them to be completely liberated from delusions of human invention of power and authority. Oh, right. Same with Totoro Suzuki. They keep him away from Hirohito if you want to keep Suzuki alive. It's like, are you serious? Okay. Guys, Suzuki would say to Hirohito what Hirohito needed to hear because it was right. Then Hirohito would be publicly embarrassed and say, I have no honor, and then have ninja-type assassins find ways to punish him for doing it. Okay. Suzuki, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Suzuki, is the protection for Hirohito from himself. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay. The same thing Sun Yat-sen is with Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong. They broke into bigger, more warring factions in China than they did. With Japan, it was usually broken into about 2. Okay, and China's bigger. And you also have the Mongols and so forth and so. And then there's the poor Koreans. who get caught between. The Koreans are like the poles. Okay, you got the Japanese down here, you got the Chinese over here, you got Mongolia over here. Shit. And you're just trying to be yourself. And what happens is you try to survive assholes. You end up becoming, in a lot of ways, bigger assholes than the assholes you try to survive. Oh yeah, that little prick in North Korea, he's an asshole. And the people in South Korea, they're trying to survive all the assholes around that and trying to make it look like they're really nice people. You know, kind of like Democrats. Trying to make it look like we're really nice people. Yeah. And then they sit there and so they'll say, you know, this whole thing that happened with this thing in Minnesota is the same with all those things that my dad has over there. These people standing in a doorway in India and saying the persistence of faith. Okay, put people into object poverty and they're becoming Christians, so send me money to take care of them and I will take care of them. Okay, they've been doing this for 50 years and those people are still on the front of those magazines saying the persistence of faith. We're not living the Lord's Prayer, but they're still asking you for make-believe money to pay their bills while you half the time don't even have enough money to pay your own bills. Wow, that's just batshit crazy. Isn't it though? Thank you, you're welcome. So, are you really ready for love, girl? Or is it just a lonely? I'm sorry, I do not sound as good as Gerald Alston. Gerald Alston is one of my favorite singers. Okay, when I was a kiddo, and me and Law said that too, because her mom said that. Oh wow, they got another goal. Her mom said that. You know, her favorite voice was the guy who starts. You know, I called you here today for a bit of bad news. I can't see you anymore because of my obligations and the ties that you have. When you turn to walk away, don't look back. I'll remember you just like this. Let's just kiss and say goodbye. Dun-dun-dun. And me and Law said, no, I like it when Gerald comes in, you know. I had to meet you here today. There's just so many things to say. Please don't stop me till I'm through. Right, but Gerald sings way better than I do. And the other guy has a better bedroom voice than I do. But Natalie's right. Dad, I am a good shower singer. I totally agree. I concur. I've heard myself sing on these things like, no, Earl, you're not bad. And if you practice more, you could be even better. I don't want to practice more. Why? Because you don't have to pay your bills to live here recording songs to give to people who say, I'm one of the best. To the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare. Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? Right? So I'll just leave that to Elvis. He recorded it. They sang it. We got the recording. It's really good. I like his I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. I like his It's Now or Never. I like O Solo Mio better by Luciano Pavarotti. Maybe. They're both good. Don't make me choose. I have both. Bella Rosa. It's harder to sing like Luciano Pavarotti. O sole mio. Yeah, he's really good. Not saying that Elvis ain't really good, but man, you know, Pavarotti, damn. That's all I gotta say about that. Damn, that man's voice. I love it. Yeah, I like Fuchila. I'm just kidding. I don't know what the name is. It's one of my favorites. Dun, 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 ba, 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 ba. That's one of my favorites. And Ave Maria. Ave Maria is wonderful. Yeah. Rigoletto, also one of my personal favorites. And yeah. Mediterranean or what was it? We had that one tape. That was the one that had It's Now or Never. And oh yeah, that was a good one. It was green on the... Yeah, Mom had two. She had the greatest hits in this other one. And my favorite was the other one because it had O Sole Mio. Mi bella rosa. And I thought, okay, so it's now or never. No, it's not. He says, my beautiful rose. Oh, he does. I am somewhat functional in Espanoli, and that's a Latin language, yeah. And so is it Portugal. And Portugal and Spain don't like to admit how much they like they is, because they don't always like each other that much. And yeah, you know, like the Scots and the Irish with the British. You know, I remember my boy Al, you know, telling him, well, you know, technically we're all Anglo-Saxon. I'm not Anglo-Saxon. I said, you can jump in breath and you can jump and up and down, hold your breath until you pass out and say you'll do it till you die. It's not going to take away the fact that sometimes your great grandma couldn't outrun, you know, the guy, and half the time they, because how many times have they put, you know, Scot in the Brit, you know, because it happens there, you know. Because it happened with, apparently it happened with Rob Roy, with William Youngsinks' you know, wife of a homosexual son there, you know. You could only understand, okay. I mean, Roland Mullis, not Rob Roy. Roland Mullis, it's like, okay, you have this Willem Wallace over there, and you have this guy that's a pampered, palace, strategic, go send other people out to die for my wealth kid. Or you got this man, all I want is Jean, Jean, roses are red, and all the leaves have gone green, right? And come, if you will, to the top of the hill. Come out to the meadow, Jean, till the sheep in the valley come home my way, till the stars fall around me and find me alone. I'll still be waiting. Grace is Good Shepherd time, right? Those crazy Scots. I think that's a Scottish song. Bunny Jean, come out to the meadow, Jean. I think it's Scottish. Yeah, because usually it's Follow Bonnie Jean, and that's with Brigadoon, it's Scottish, all right? Isn't Brigadoon Scottish? I don't think it's Irish. I think it's Scottish, guys. I'm not sure. Don't quote me, but I think Bonnie Jean, Follow Bonnie Jean. I think that's Scottish. And Ireland, no, don't be far starting them fashions now, Mary McCree, in the place where the dark morn sweeps down to the sea. I believe that when writing, you wish. That's a damn good tone, isn't it, though? Yeah, I like that one. Okay, guys. So, half the kids are shaking hands, the other half are crying. No, you know, sports? No. I cried when the military set up the kidnapping of my kids. Yeah, for about 2 days. Yeah. I cried for about a half a day when I watched a thing on Mike Wallace, and they talked about his depression, and Patrick went to go stay with his mom or Corey's house, and I watched that show and then realized I never cried. Never had time to cry because I was a single dad and all the stuff going on and all the social convention that you do. I never cried about losing my mom, but you know, she was tortured and abused to death by the medical industry with poisoning called cancer. And so when it ended, and they had no intent on ending it, it was more of a sigh of relief for that beautiful person being tortured by evil people than it was, because you knew there was nothing you could do about it. Life's eternal, grace is infinite, past, present, future operate at the same time. And so, you know, like I told Brian Manwaring in Sierra Vista, he said, what's it like? I said, well, you only want to know what you need to know at the time when you can do something about it. And you do have access to everybody and they talk to you, but it's only when the time is right and when it's needed. So it's not like the Abraham Hicks people that are channeling Abraham Hicks to teach you how to build wealth through positive thinking, through Tony Robbins' ghost and shit like that. No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like Oral Roberts. Jesus said, give me $1 million, he's going to kill my ass. It's nothing stupid like that, right? It's just being a part of that which is needed, because the people need the Messiah, because they're denied living his truth, right? And so it's lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I get no letters in the mail. No, you're never lonely. It's not lonely. It's torture. Okay. It's It's way different than lonely. Lonely is being isolated because of circumstances within your control. Okay, that's lonely. Okay. Being isolated and abused because other people manipulate and have no control of cannot master their emotions and be kind and loving and respectful and empathetic and give people dignity and respect. That's an entirely different matter. Okay. So no, what the Messiah, like Joseph and Daniel and Jesus and Muhammad and Haile Selassie and myself, what we go through and what we feel, okay, is radically different than people that think they're lonely because of the conditions they accept without question, because they're denied the truth and they don't understand how to stand up for it. When you stand up for the truth, even if you're all alone, it's better standing up for the truth all alone than it is being in a large group of people praising God for dragons and unicorns and philanthropy. Oh my, right? Here you go now. I'm watching the kids on the pitch in Seattle talk to their ancestors about what they're doing for money, and they don't realize that, no, the guy like Jesus, he has the sound down because he's making a video for quantum computing and artificial intelligence to be able to be used to share the Lord's Prayer globally as soon as possible. That's what's happening. Verb, that's what's happening. I can take a noun and bend it. Give me a noun. Okay. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Dude. I'm gonna bend it. Okay. So I've got it right here at the edge of the penalty box there, and I'm gonna kick it, and it's gonna bend, and it's gonna go in, right? Tutti frutti already. Tutti frutti already. Remember that Bend It Like Beckham movie? Wasn't that the girl in that movie that me and Amy watched, where she was a refugee from Africa, and she started living with this French guy, and her husband was a political subversive who was tried as a traitor for trying to stop people from being abused, and he was taken, and she was thought, she had to flee the country because she was his wife, and she thought he was dead. And she was hoping he was still alive, but then she thought he was dead and was giving up all hope. And she's staying in refuge with this really handsome, charming French guy. And they end up falling for each other and falling into bed. And you think, oh, wow, well, she's finally moved on. And at the end of the movie, the husband has gotten free and is knocking on the front door of this house, of this apartment where her and this French guy are at. And you're like, ugh, arg, ooh, You're watching that movie, and then she's going to walk up to him and go, couldn't really blame you if you turned and walked away. But for everything I feel inside, I'm asking you to stay. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. You're being torn apart by tribalism, secular abuse, and philanthropy. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Let her dream, for she's a child. Let the rain fall down upon her. All right? She's a pure and gentle flower, growing wild. And if I could have but one possession, I'd take her from the garden to be mine. Right? Good song, right? The foster kid, the guy who raised the Jenner boys, yeah, he wrote that song. I'm pretty sure. La-dee-da-dee-dum, la-dee-da-dee-dum. Yeah, the other father who married Bruce Jenner's first wife, okay, is the guy who wrote Wildflower from Scarlark. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. If I'm wrong, then I'm just a total dummy and I'm just making this shit all up. But yeah, it's a really good song. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. The way she's always paying for a debt she never owes, and a silent wind still blows that only she can hear, and so she goes, right? And guys, you have to be focused and you have to understand, if I'm hard on people, It's because you should know who I am. This is Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I'm the Messiah, and I'm on YouTube, for crying out loud. And if you're afraid of the military, and if you go watch my videos, and it says only 3 people watch them, just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. It took the midnight train going anywhere, right? Street lights, people. The U.S. government, in the interest of national security, for the corporations and Wall Street, can do anything they want with the numbers. And there's nothing YouTube can do about it. Facebook had to kick me off because they will comply with whatever. Do I think? I don't know. I can't tell you if it's the powers that be, as you would call them. They're not powers that be. The perverts that manipulate, that make you do it. And if we'll do this. Guys, my thing is I think the only reason why they keep me here on isolation and torture me is to psychologically torture and abuse the people that believe in the Messiah. Okay. The people that are right. Okay. And the one lady on the commercial, the world is watching. Yes, the world is watching. We have quantum computing. And I'm the guy from the Book of Revelation. And I post here daily numerous times to help the technology understand the persistence and consistency of the Messiah, that he does not stop talking until we're all living what we should be thinking and talking. So we be walking what we're talking, because it's right, walkie-talkie, thinky, walkie-talkie, right, okay, Lord's Prayer, perfect, okay, right? And so till we're living the perfecto of the Lord's Prayer, Earl's just going to keep going. Like Joseph Smith did after leaving Nauvoo, and just keep it going, and like, Moses and Daniel and Joseph and Jesus and then Peter and Paul and John and the cave of North Africa, just keep going. Life goes on. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. Settle for nothing less than the perfection of the perfect commands of the Messiah, and you will be, free. That's the only freedom. The only freedom for us trapped in this hell of invention is forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal full peace. And then you'll understand the truth that life is eternal and the essence is infinite, because we know that scientifically it's valid. And then share, care, give in accordance to need, build last by obeying the natural laws to love one another faithfully through holy covenants. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy enemy. Don't covet. Yada, yada. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. It works. It all applies in physics. Ding, dong, diddly, doo, right? And when you explain it to liberals, they look at you like you're crazy. You mean to tell me that the people that have corporations that have you asking for organic money and the best technology to make your organic money the best money on a card that was ever made by people that say that my money's better than their money? Yeah. That the assholes that are just like you invented all the magic stuff in the Gospels to make them not valid, not real, and not based on natural laws. Unicorn, philanthropy, dragon. Just because you invent a word, okay, doesn't mean it applies in physics. Okay? Is money necessary? No. Then the application of physics, of economics, is just a manipulation of what we need that puts us all at risk, because you don't need to dig up mountains for gold, but you do need to dig up the field to plant your crops. Zang. And it also circulates water real well for a healthy environment. Yeah, like the beaver. Okay, the beaver. Yeah, that was pretty interesting knowledge on that thing on Centennial, with the beaver and all that. So I love you guys. All right, we'll talk later, man. Peace out.